Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Belle and today we're watching another speed build. I started working on this farm for a challenge, a Reddit challenge called the Bi-Weekly Building Challenge, and the prompt for this week was to build a renovated farmhouse. You didn't need to build like the old and a new farmhouse, you just had to make it look like it was renovated. And I decided to base myself on this really old picture of a farmhouse that I found, very rundown house with a barn next to it, and I couldn't find a lot that fit what I needed and didn't look weird and disproportional, so I ended up on this 64 by 64 lot in Windenburg, which is huge. I don't think I ever built on a 64 by 64 from scratch before, and it did take a very long time. I had over 10 hours just that I recorded, and I did forget to record some parts of it. So it was a very big task, but I got really into it, so I was really excited doing it. And the reason I got so excited was because at first I didn't have any inspiration besides the picture that I have. Maybe a little bit on Shrew Farms from The Office, if you guys are familiar with. But since there are no beets on the game and Shrew Farm is basically about planting beets, I went for a different path. I have this couple of friends, Mari and Yuri, and we met around 7 years ago when we used to do musical theater together. And right now they are both writers. They just released a couple books. And Mari, my friend, she always tells me about their dream of owning a farm and living away from the city and just having a quiet life in general and growing their own food and having beautiful surroundings around. So I got really inspired when I remembered the things that she told me, and I built this house for them actually. So I was really thinking about their style, how their house is decorated now, and I think it really fit their style, this mixture of some old styles in the house, some old walls, as you can see here on the bathroom, this wall that was supposed to be from the original building, and they're kept and recolored it. And also some of the new furniture, a more modern style with a very boho ring to it. And I thought the rough surfaces, as in the floor and the walls, they did go well with very fluffy beds and comfortable couches, as you see downstairs. And here I was working on the bedroom. Later on I realized that you could not get into the bathroom from the bedroom, so I had to remove that chair, but I did like the colors and the style in this room. I think my friends would be very proud. Actually, they were, because I showed them this build and they loved it. They wanted the real version of it so they could live in. And I was really glad to do this. I felt really close to them while building this, because I was thinking a lot about them. And here on the living room, as I said, I tried to go for some comfortable couches, and we didn't really have that many couches that look very comfortable on the game. So I went for this blue one, which was the most fluffy texture I could find. Like, it seems nice to be lying on, but I wish we had some more leather couches, you know, something a little more grand and rounded maybe. So this was the one that, with the colors, fit the style I was looking for the best. And this platform here, this lowered platform on the living room, I ended up getting rid of it because It looked weird, you know, this display you're seeing now, that seemed very round. So I just went for a flat surface with only the kitchen being sunk. And I ended up adding here in the living room as well some of that same texture we saw in the bedroom and on the laundry. You know, those planks from Spooky Day? Spooky Day? Yeah, I think so. Spooky season. I have a really hard time remembering the names of the packs. So here I'm working on the barn, and this is where the actual bed and breakfast is. I got inspired by this place I visited a few weeks ago. It was in the middle of the forest and right next to a waterfall, and it was a very romantic place. You could hear the waterfalls going by and the birds, and at night it would be very pitch dark because there was no houses or cities around. And I got inspired by that vibe. I thought if you had a farm and such a beautiful space to enjoy be enjoyed by just two people, it might be nice to make some extra income by renting a part of the place. So I thought a bed and breakfast on the barn would not disturb the guests or the hosts, and hosts could come and enjoy the day in the farm, you know, go fishing for their own food, learn how to collect honey, and maybe even collecting something from the crops if they are ready. So I thought it would be a magical experience to have. I was thinking on a very, real life way. Obviously, Sims are not so enthusiastic about this kind of things, and you also cannot live in a lot and rent it, but you could use this as just a rental or as a vacation home, or just live in it and enjoy the Airbnb as a part of the house, or even have a roommate in, because you can assign beds with the roommate system in Sims 4. And here I'm working on said bed and breakfast. On the downstairs of the barn, I created this kind of workshop for cooking, storing some of the crops as they are passing through before being sold or something like that. And here's the space where Mary can make her jams and soups and sauces, all based on things that they harvest from the farm. So maybe using honey as well. And so there is this small functional kitchen. I think the oven's not there yet, but here there is this cute scale I found on debug menu, and all sorts of fruits that you can also find on debug menu to make it look like it was just being used to make some things, and maybe she just stopped it to go sell some of it under the tree. And actually, the farm is called Tree Farm and Bed and Breakfast because of two things. This tree that you'll see just in the middle of the farm, and also the tree-shaped pattern that you can see going through the things in the farm. This one right now. Here I'm building the beekeeping station, or the beekeeping nook, or whatever you want to call it. So it's actually not just bees, but those little thingies from Michael's tile, that you can cultivate or, I don't know, harvest crickets and some weird larvae. But anyway, those cutie things where they hug the animals, kind of weird. But it's a space for that, and I think it would look very cute and romantic to have this little garden nook for it right next to the crops. And here I'm working on the decoration for the bed and breakfast, and it was very inspired by this place that I went that had a black fireplace and some dark walls and curtains and a very boho decoration. owner was actually from Indonesia, so she had a lot of beautiful decoration items that she brought from Indonesia to Brazil. It was very pretty, very pleasant. So I went for these dark colors and a lot of woods in the decoration because it looks very cozy and intimate and perfect for a stay for a couple. And I'm adding now a few clutter items on the kitchen cabinets. I love these cabinets from Snowscape. I think I said it before, but they look so realistic, and for a bed and breakfast, really nice because there is no doors on the cabinets. So in a real house, if you would let cabinets close for a while, they might get that stuffy smell, especially if they're just plain wood. So having open shelves on a not very populated house is a smart idea because they're easy to clean. And anyway, I'm very enthusiastic about bed and breakfast. My family owns a bed and breakfast, and there's this little details that really make a difference when you're hosting people. And here you can see the very skinny bathroom. Actually not that skinny, because when you use buildings on a diagonal, the wall tiles, wall panels, I don't know, they actually get bigger. So there is a little spare room in the bathroom, so you can even put the sink in front of the door, and that would not get in the way of people getting inside, which you cannot usually do on a 3x1 regular bathroom. And here I'm adding a few more modern touches to the kitchen because I was afraid I would not hit the brief and the renovated farmhouse tile, so I tried to add a little more metal and some more bright colors, as you can see on the cabinet, which used to be blue before. And even on the outside, I'm adding some new spandrels that look more squared, not so dated, which I think would be make sense on a renovation to change the spandrels, which might be old and a little deteriorated. So I'm just making this final adjustments. You can see I landscaped the whole place, and this is the big tree that gives the name to the farm, and right underneath it is a market table where Mary can sell her little concoctions to the neighbors or to passerbys or even to guests that come around and want to take a little bit of the farm taste back home. So I was just adding a few finishing touches and decoration. You can see I cut out a lot of decoration and changes from this build because it was way too much things, and I didn't want it to be too boring or repetitive, so I just stuck to the basics let's say. And here we are jumping to the screenshots. This is the bird view I told you about, where you can see this tree-shaped pattern taken to the house. And here are the two buildings. In the main house, we have the downstairs, which is fully renovated now. You can see there is no dining room because I wanted more open space downstairs, so I opted on having just a small breakfast table. And I think the laundry room is very cute and have some of those wall textures. The game room, which is very good for gameplay because there's a lot of skill building items. This is the hallway bathroom, which I also renovated and gave it that very modern vibe that you see in renovated bathrooms, where they redid all the plumbing. And here in the office, we have these two beautiful desks where Mari and Yuri can write their next books or do their research. And here on this chair is where Yuri can play his songs for Mari, which is something he actually does very well in real life, and it's so cute. the main bedroom, I did change a little bit of the decoration to some CC after a while, but it does not interfere on downloading the build, for example, because it's just a few pieces of decoration. So this is the finished barn, and this is Mari enjoying the bed and breakfast. A little sunset going through the windows, and this is the finished room. There's also this clothing cabinet that is CC from Tiny Travelers, I guess, but just a minor piece of decoration. And here are they enjoying the fire, and a few more screenshots of the farm life. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see some more, please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.